Hey everyone, welcome back. We're doing a deep dive today into media habits and how they're changing search behavior across generations.
Ah, yeah.
It's a really interesting topic.
Absolutely fascinating.
And the main source that we're using is an article from LB Online called By the Numbers: Generational Media Habits and Shifts in Search Behavior.
Okay.
It was just published last week on January 20th, 2025.
Hmm.
And, it's really not just about the numbers.
Right.
It's about how, like, Gen Z is completely changing the search game.
Yeah.
Millennials are juggling all these different platforms.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for marketers trying to reach everyone?
Well, it's almost like a real-time evolution of how we're all taking in information and interacting with the world.
Exactly. It's fascinating. So let's start with Gen Z,
Okay.
the ultimate digital natives.
Right.
I mean, for them, it's all about mobile.
Yeah.
YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat. These are practically extensions of themselves.
Absolutely.
We're talking 70% on YouTube, 52% on TikTok, and another 52% on Snapchat.
Wow.
That's a lot of screen time.
It's not just mindless scrolling, though, right? These platforms are how they get their information. It's where they shop, how they connect.
Yeah, and here's the thing that I think is really, really interesting.
Right.
For, marketers especially.
Yeah.
46% of Gen Z, they're ditching Google and going straight to social media to search.
Interesting.
Everything from fashion trends to gift ideas.
Why is that?
Well, think about it. I mean, they're visual learners.
Oh, yeah.
They want instant gratification.
Of course.
And they trust those influencer recommendations.
Makes you wonder if text-based search as we know it is on the way out.
Right. I mean, this is a whole new ball game.
Huge shift.
Yeah. And then you factor in that nearly a quarter of them,
Wow.
23%, are spending more than 5 hours a day on their phones.
That's a lot.
That's either a marketer's dream or nightmare, depending on how mobile-friendly they are.
It's a wake-up call for sure.
Yeah, they have to adapt to this visually driven, algorithm-powered world, right?
Yeah.
Short-form video influencer collaborations, understanding how to leverage platforms like TikTok.
Essential.
It's not even optional anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so this mastery of multiple platforms leads us to millennials.
Okay.
They're the ultimate streaming generation.
Right.
69% on Netflix, 50% on Prime Video.
Wow.
But here's the twist.
Okay.
They're still watching traditional TV.
Really?
35% of them are tuning in for 1 to 3 hours a day.
They witnessed that whole explosion of technology firsthand.
Yeah, so they're comfortable in both worlds.
Yeah, they're curating their own media experiences.
Right, and they've got the buying power, too.
Oh, yeah.
93,381 median household income.
That's a lot.
That makes them prime targets for those subscriptions and premium services.
Absolutely.
But with so many touch points, it makes you wonder,
What's that?
how do you design a campaign that reaches them everywhere?
That's a good question.
Right? Are they just scattered? Or are they hyper-organized, filtering everything that comes their way?
That's a really interesting point.
And, of course, there's Instagram.
Yeah.
50% of millennials are active there. Makes sense. Drawn to the visuals, the stories, those social connections.
So are they spread too thin, or are they masters of their own media universe?
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating, right?
It is.
Now, let's shift gears and talk about Gen X.
Okay.
They're kind of the bridge between the analog and the digital worlds.
Right.
Big on streaming platforms, 64% on Netflix, 50% on Prime Video.
Yeah, but they also watch the most traditional TV.
Oh, absolutely.
More than any other generation.
39% are watching for 1 to 3 hours every day.
Why do you think that is?
Well, it could be nostalgia.
Could be.
Maybe they prefer those familiar formats.
Right.
Maybe it's just unwinding after a long day with traditional programming.
Well, they remember life before the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Before smartphones, before streaming took over.
They grew up with appointment television.
Right. Families gathering around the TV at a certain time.
So there's that sense of comfort.
Yeah, the ritual.
And while they enjoy streaming,
Yeah.
they haven't totally abandoned those pleasures of traditional TV.
Makes sense.
It's like they're blending the best of both worlds
Absolutely.
into this unique media cocktail.
I like that.
And speaking of blending,
Yeah.
their social media habits are interesting too.
Huh?
Facebook is their online haven.
Huh?
65% are using it regularly.
It aligns with their focus on family and friends.
Right. It's less about chasing trends and more about maintaining relationships,
Yeah.
sharing life updates.
Right.
And then think about this. Their homeownership rate is 74%.
Wow.
That's huge.
It is.
It's a gold mine for anyone marketing, home-related products.
Yeah, they have established careers,
Yeah.
disposable income, and a keen interest in home and family.
They're not afraid to spend money.
Nope.
So we've looked at Gen Z's mobile first world,
Uh-huh.
millennials, multi-platform mastery,
Yeah.
Gen X bridging the old and the new.
Okay.
But let's go back to the search landscape for a minute.
Okay.
We saw how Gen Z is turning to social media for their search needs.
Right.
46% compared to 42% overall. It's a huge shift. It really is. Visual is the new text.
That's a big statement.
It is, but I think it's true. Millennials and Gen X are still favoring Google.
Okay.
58% and 64%.
As long
But
as
for
we
how
can check,
long
that's the question.
will they continue to rely on those traditional search engines?
Right.
Or are they going to be swayed by social search and the influence of algorithms and influencers?
It's like a wave slowly changing the entire landscape.
And speaking of waves, there's another one coming.
What's that?
The rise of AI-powered search.
Right.
31% of Gen Z are already using tools like ChatGPT.
Wow. Compared to 20% overall.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
That is.
It points to a future where those search results are tailored to individual preferences.
Fascinating. But what are the implications of that?
Right.
On a larger scale, how will it affect the way we access information and form our opinions?
And on that note, we'll wrap up part 1 of our deep dive.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
but there's much more to explore.
Looking forward to it.
In part 2, we'll delve deeper into the marketing implications of all these generational trends
Okay.
and uncover what it all means for brands trying to navigate this ever-evolving media landscape.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned.